We are your cheaper wholesale and retail store.
Easy when you want some more I provide. So we start to talk. Come on, some going deep and deeper. Put it to Ichiki. Villa living sense in hot. We want peace in Liberia, peace in Morocco.
Yo, hello. I want to talk about violence. More violence is indiscriminate. It can happen for any reason and to anyone. Until we do something to serve the search of vigilante justice in this country, none of us will be safe. My Liberia is Liberia of hope. In my Liberia, it is possible. Violence is not part of my Liberia. Violence leads to property damage, injury, or even death, as we are seeing recent months in several parts of Liberia, including Monrovia. Talk to people in your community about violence. Stand up against mob justice. Be a community hero. Liberia is all that we have. We must all unite to uphold the rule of law. Thanks for listening. This is Old Man Sam Sign.
We want peace in Liberia, peace in Morocco. We want peace in Liberia.
Yes, indeed. We want peace everywhere in Liberia. And so we strongly condemn the attack on the Kakata police station on yesterday. And so we hope those requisite authorities are doing everything to have the situation put under control. And we hope to hear from the police in the not too distant future with respect to what transpired yesterday in that part of the country in Magibi County, where we've been told that the police station was attacked by some angry crowd on yesterday. And so from the Prime News, we strongly condemn, and we hope that the perpetrators will be brought to justice. Good morning, folks, and welcome to the program from the Print News. It's a regular feature here on Freedom Radio 87.9, and it's also heard on 95.7. Good morning. My name is Wendell Nimna, and I'm here this morning with
Esther Daku.
And we hoping to hear from our radio LIB partner, Gus Coleman. Together, we'll run you up to 12:30 this afternoon. And the program from the Print News is brought to you through the kind courtesy of Mayuba and Sons Incorporated, one of the giants in the importation and distribution of petroleum products on the Liberian market. And Exodus Best Price Store on Gurley Street and the Old Road Smart Road Junction is also a part of this program. Those of you who want to have that special occasion and you're looking for a place to get drinks for a cheaper price, well, I recommend to you Exodus Best Price Store. Is your wholesale and retail store, very cheap. All right, so you want to throw out parties, wedding reception, whatever get together. You're looking for a place to get drinks for cheaper price. Well, make no mistake. Just make your way to Exodus Best Price Store on Gurley Street or Smart Road Junction there on the Old Road. All right, so folks, this morning, we also want to let you know that Crime Stoppers Liberia is also a part of this program. And Crime Stoppers was established, to fight crimes in our various communities. So you heard from the CEO, Oman Sion, that violence is not the way forward for us as a country. So Esther and I this morning, we're going to be sharing with you 4 local dailies. I have with me the newspaper, The Nation's News since 1989. And hey, don't rush, just take your time. And I also have with me the Hot Pepper newspaper. So Esther, what do you have to share with us this morning?
This morning I have the Inquirer and I have the Front Page Africa.
All right, so good morning once again, those of you listening and those of you watching us. Brian Yenfo is following us all the way from Pennsylvania, the USA, that's in Philadelphia. Joje Wongwe says, good morning, my freedom family. T. Sylvester Nyeswa It says, keep up the good work and a pleasant good morning, everyone. I'm following closely from Bourgeois Island, Morovia. And we have again Jojo One-Way is watching from Johnsonville, TS Nambe. It says, good morning, Wendell and Esther. I'm watching from Accra. All right, so this morning, let's take the lead with the newspaper and let's get to the editorial. Government must address transportation fares too, is the editorial of the newspaper. And we start up now to bring you stories on the front and back pages. GSC begins week-long workshop on CI Leadership Development Program. And let's run a few lines of it. The General Auditing Commission has begun a week-long training workshop for senior managers of the commission. The leadership development continuation of the story is on page 8. Let's quickly make our way to that page. Page 8 of the newspaper for the continuation. And we've already there, it says the leadership workshop, which runs from June 13 to 17, 2022, is being held in collaboration with Afro-CE. The workshop, the third of its kind for the GSC, is intended to build the leadership skills of senior managers. The Auditor General of Liberia, P. Gaswa Jackson, admonished the senior managers to ensure their full participation as to build and increase their leadership skills. Speaking during the ceremony, Jackson said the training is intended to ensure continuity and professional development of GAC. Everybody in this training should consider himself or herself as an important part of the GSC management. Your invitation means that you are one of those who will drive the agenda of the commission and ensure that quality audits are delivered to the public so that resources that are deployed at different ministries and agencies are used for the intended purposes, Jackson explained. And that's good story there for the General Auditing Commission. And another story says, Bloody Monday, boy 17 killed in Kakata police link. So let's see what is on page 3. The city of Kakata, Magibi County, was on Monday, June 13, the scene of serious pandemonium when youth of the city violently took to the streets, demanding justice for the death of one of their colleagues identified as Rufus. Rufus was reportedly shot and killed by the police chief of operations in that part of the country. It was earlier reported that Rufus was shot because he was a criminal, but residents of the area where the incident occurred rejected same, claiming that the victim was not a criminal. Joe Barkley, brother of the deceased, told reporters that he and his brother went in the garage around the swamp where they usually go hunting for bamboo worms. He added that a police officer identified as Mohammed Kurma, along with another officer, went there and asked them what they were doing there because the place is a criminal area. But according to Barkley, while explaining that they went to look for their living, Kurma allegedly shot his brother and ordered his men to put his brother in the car and took him to the station. At the police station, the victim's brother noted that officers mercilessly beat his brother before Kurma and shot him in the head twice. The incident triggered angry crowd to storm the police station, thereby making Kurma and his men to reportedly escape the scene in a pickup. Barkley said the crowd wanted to burn down the police station when the youth leader identified as Sunday Kona came and calmed the situation. Kona was also on the scene, said that some group of young people went to his house in the morning saying that their friend had been killed by Kurma. He thought that as a young man, he went on the scene and calmed down his colleagues. In the process, he lost his belongings, including phone and cash. According to Kona, the incident also led to the vandalization of the police station, while inmates were set free by the angry crowd. According to eyewitnesses, Goma has been in the habit of shooting peaceful citizens with impunity. When contacted, police spokesperson H. Moses Carter confirmed that killing of Rufus 17. He said the victim was reportedly shot and killed when police officers went to effect the arrest of an armed robber in the area. Carter said authorities of the police want to know what really happened that led to the shooting incident. Meanwhile, Carter said calm has been restored to Kakata following the intervention of the police led by Deputy Inspector General for Operations Marvin Sacco. And that's the story there. Bloody Monday, boy 17 killed in Kakata police link. And another story, which is our final story on the front page of the newspaper. NICO secures major deal, signs MOU with House's leadership. The management of the National Insurance Corporation of Liberia has secured a major deal in its drive to make the entity vibrant. NICO and the leadership of the House of Representatives on Monday, June 13, 2022, signed a memorandum of understanding. And those are all the stories we can bring you from the back. That's the front page. And let's run to the back page of the newspaper. Government regrets death of conjoined twins. All right, we brought this story on yesterday, and those of you who didn't follow, the conjoined twin that were born in the Talawanyan Hospital in Beaufort County was pronounced dead on yesterday. And the story, like I said, we brought to you on yesterday. But let's take another story. Bad medical procedure leaves child crippled. Parent seeks assistance. Oh my gosh. Parents of a 3-year-old boy who was left crippled after receiving injection at Ma Esther Clinic in Monrovia is calling for assistance. According to them, their son Preston Jr. was injected by a nurse only identified as Grace. And since then, the child's legs are no longer functioning, thus making him unable to walk.
Wow. That's sad.
Sad. Very, very sad. Very, very sad. But that's it. Bad medical procedure leaves child crippled. Parents seek assistance. And another story here says LMBA and NEC hold emergency meeting on rule of law for 2023 election. The Liberia National Bar Association has held an engagement meeting with the Board of Commissioners of the National Elections Commission to acquaint itself with the general state of affairs at the NEC and strengthen collaboration to address the story continues. It says to address what is happening here. All right, it says to address issues as it relates to the rule of law leading to 2023 elections. The LMBA, in its statement dated June 13, described the engagement as critical and a platform to discuss a credible 2023 election that will strengthen the peace and democracy of the country. According to the LMBA, based on the mistrust surrounding the past election in Liberia, as well as the possibility of intimidation in the country's political environment, the bar has decided to undertake a program aimed at enhancing transparency, deterring fraud, and increasing the chances that 2023 election will be conducted in conformity with Liberian laws and international standards. And another story says U.S. ambassador tours APM terminals, Liberia, backs digital processes. The ambassador of the United States of America to Liberia, Michael A. McCarthy, and a high-level delegation from the U.S. Embassy and USAID recently visited APM terminals, Liberia. The statement said the visit gave the ambassador the opportunity to see the workings of Liberia's largest seaport, as well as to receive first-hand updates on macroeconomic business development, ongoing improvement initiative, and the port digitalization partnership between APM Terminals Liberia and Liberia Revenue Authority. Likewise, the ambassador learned about the critical concern of the port channel and dredging requirement. And lastly, for the back page of the newspaper, court clears GSE employees of multiple charges. The Monrovia City Court at the Temple of Justice in Monrovia has cleared defendant Timothy Senyen Lentu, an employee of the General Services Agency, of all criminal charges in an auto theft case that was pending before the court. A certificate of clearance issued to defendant Senyen Lentu reads, "This is to certify that a careful perusal court records in the above captioned case reveals that the said case was nolly prosecuted by the prosecution and dismissed by court due to lack of sufficient evidence, thereby discharging defendant from further answering to charge herein. Hence, this certificate." And that's all we can take from the newspaper. Let's follow the next presentation from my end, the Hot Pepper newspaper. And this is one of the papers I already referred to as controversial. All right, so the Hot Pepper, the motto says, "We too belong." The editorial, "The Central Bank of Liberia mitigates the liquidity problem." And so is mud homes and offices for workers in Nimba County. So we construct makeshift offices and homes for employees. Those of you watching us on the social media, as we having problem with I'm
No,
seeing. All right, it's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So those of you watching us, you'll see these are the makeshift buildings being constructed by Sowe for employees and staffers of that institution. But that's it there. Sowe constructs makeshift offices and homes for employees. Villagers threaten to withdraw from deal. Back in 2020, the people of Blair and Saye Kudo District, Nimba County, agreed to allow Sowe Mining Incorporated to explore for iron ore deposits in their territory in the Nimba mountain range. This agreement came after massive pressure from top officials of government, including local county leaders, who made the communities abandon dozens of years of the conservation management plan and agreed to allow Sowe access to their community managed forests in exchange for jobs and funding for health and education. As reported months back by the international news outlet Mongabe, the villagers contend that promises for which they gave out their land have not been kept, and therefore they are making consideration to. Continuation of that story is on page 3. You grab a copy of the Hot Pepper newspaper. And lastly, House leadership signs MOU with Nicol Insurance. Lawmakers call on all government institutions to insure with Nicol. Nicol is the National Insurance Corporation of Liberia. Let's run to the back page of the Hot Pepper newspaper. Ahead of Lofa County's by-election, LMB raises concerns of early warning signs of conflict, discusses critical issues with the National Elections Commission. We already brought you that story, and another story says, put aside your difference and rally around government. Bishop Nimley urges Liberians. The Bishop of the Bible Way Church of Liberia, Aloysius N. Nimna Sr., has urged Liberians to put aside their religious, tribal, and political differences and rally around the government for the promotion of national development. Bishop Nimna said there is a dire need for citizens of Liberia to offer prayers for the officials of government in order for God to give them the wisdom to govern the state in the interest of its people. And that's all we can take from the Hot Paper newspaper. Let's send controls to Esther for the continuation of the dailies.
All right, this morning, let's start off with the Inquirer newspaper. From the Inquirer newspaper this morning, we see the top story here says, eviction hangs over INCH error for rental debts if. Reports reaching this paper says the debt court presided over by Judge James Jones has issued a writ of summons for Councillor Dempster Brown and Madam Mary Brough. The writ, which was reading on June 8, cautioned the defendants that if they fail to appear, the court will be left with no alternative but to render judgment of default as provided by the law. They are to appear before the debt court of Montserrado County sitting in its July term regarding the sum of 125,000 United States dollars in rental debts incurred by Independent Commission on Human Rights. The rental fee is owed by the INCHR for using the current premises in Sinker, which was secured by the Director General of the General Service Agency, Mary Brough, through a lease agreement with Mahmoud Jala and Aiba Bari, owners of the said property. Jala and Bari 6 count action of debt to the court accused the two public officials of allegedly refusing to settle obligations with them from July 1, 2021 to present. They said the defendants entered into an agreement and have been in their property mentioned but have refused to comply with the rental contract. Plaintiffs submit and say that while it is true that non-payment of rent is not the ground to evict or eject a renter in any rental property, however, given an unabated non-performance posture exhibited over the years by the defendants, plaintiff requests court to order the defendants to pay all of the outstanding rental owed. Well, that's where we will stop you. Let's look at more stories quickly on the front page of the Inquirer newspaper. This one says, stay out of Bomi politics, Snow warns college president. And it's on the front page. Let's see some lines from here. Bomi County Senator Edwin Snow has warned the newly inducted president of the Bomi County College to stay out of the county's politics if he wants to succeed at the college. He cautioned the president of the county's own institution of higher learning to remain focused on his duties as a school administrator and stay out for where is the completion of the story? Okay, I think it's on page 10. You can grab a copy to read that. Lawmakers call for government compliance as HUS leadership signs MOU with NOCA Insurance. That's NACO Insurance, sorry. And then let's see some lines, what it says.
I've read that story already.
Okay.
Yeah.
U.S. Ambassador to Liberia tours APM terminus. Okay, you have brought that also. Let's bring it to the back page. Police Zogos clash scares Kakata residents as one killed, several wounded. He also brought that Cummings redates we are fit in 2023. But that's all we can get from the Inquirer newspaper. Let's bring you the front page Africa. On the front page Africa, the top story here says reviving the National Insurance Company. Let's see some lines. This one says House Leadership Signs MOU with National Insurance Company of Liberia. Insurance calls on all government institutions to insure with Nicole. Alright, we brought that from the previous paper. Crying for help pressure crippled single mother begs for humanitarian support. Make we are a one-term president. Former Bomi County Senator Sandra Johnson vents frustration over rampant corruption, high level of insecurity, extreme poverty, misuse of power, secret killings, and poor management of Liberia's resources remain visible under the Coalition for Democratic Change-led government. This story is on page 9 of the paper. You can grab a copy to read that. Director of Mines at Mines and Energy Ministry appoints Assistant Minister for Mines on usurping the president's function. This is to inform all sectional heads of the Ministry of Mines and Energy that Mr. Ahmad George Foley Jr. has been appointed as acting Minister, Minister of Mines, Ministry of Mines and Energy. Page 5 has this story. Let's take some lines from it. Okay, we have page 5 right here. It says the Front Page Africa has in its possession a memorandum circulated by the Director of Mines at the Ministry of Mines and Energy announcing the appointment of Mr. Ahmad Foley as the acting Assistant Minister of Mines, an appointment that did not come from the Executive Mansion. The memo, which was written by the Director of Mines, Mr. Arthur Gotolo, reads, "This is to inform all sectional heads of the Ministry of Mines and Energy that Mr. Ahmad George Foley Jr. has been appointed as acting Assistant Minister for Mines, Ministry of Mines and Energy. In view of the above, you are asked to please accord him all necessary cooperation for a smooth operation of the ministry." When contacted for comments, the Public Relations Officer of the ministry said the appointment of Mr. Foley met all the requirements of the ministry to file the VOG credited by Mr. Emmanuel T. Swain, who was in the United Kingdom pursuing a master's program. When questioned whether the appointment of such a position was authorized and announced by Executive Mansion, he said, "Not all appointments are announced by the Office of the President." He, however, said Mr. Foley has returned to his previous position due to the return of Mr. Swain. Also speaking, the Front Page Africa, Mr. Foley, who originally serves as the Director of Hydrocarbon at the Ministry, said his appointment was made through a written communication from the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs to the Minister of Mines and Energy, Mr. Gisela Moire. He said, based on the recommendation from Minister Michael, the Minister and Energy Minister served him a letter of appointment to the position of acting Assistant Minister for Mines. A copy of the letter from Minister Michael to Minister, I think it should be to the Minister of Mines, reads, "Mr. Minister, I extend warmest greetings and write to kindly request that you consider Mr. G. Ahmad Foley to act as Assistant Minister for Mines. When considered, he will act in the state of Honorable Emmanuel T. Swain, who has been granted study leave in pursuance of his academic sojourn. As you are aware, Mr. Foley is currently the Director of Hydrocarbon at your ministry and has the requisite technical and professional skills to administer the Bureau of Mines accordingly. Kind regards, sincerely yours, Nathaniel Michael." Minister and Chief of Staff of the President. It can be recalled that President in April suspended, it should be the President in April suspended the Director General of the National Bureau of Concession for dismissing his deputy Nathaniel Bracewell. President Weah described the action by the NBC boss to terminate the service of Mr. Bracewell as arbitrary and without due regard to the office of the President. At the same time, President Weah warned all public officials to immediately refrain from exercising any power, function, and duties assigned to the President of Liberia and to act within the confines of the authorities. Well, let's look at more stories on the front page of the Front Page Africa. In Markibi, angry residents ransacked police headquarters over death of 21-year-old alleged shot and killed by police officer Peter Scatter in Kakata. We were sitting here at a car wash when two police came and began running behind us. It was just at that time one of the officers discharged his firearm in the head of our friend. Well, that's all we can take from there. Window brought that already. At the back page is a death notice, and the rest is put. So let's send controls back to Window.
Thank you very much, Esther, and thanks to all of you. Those are all the dailies we have to share with you this morning. We will give our colleague Gus the time to greet you, and then we take our commercial break. Gus, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, all. Sorry, I was running a little late. But here I got basically most of the stories. It don't seem like there's a lot, so I'll see you on the other end.
Okay. So let's go and catch up with our break, and then we come back. We send controls back to the USA, to the man Gus Korma.
Are you in search of a place you can get quality petroleum products? Well, I got news for you. Mayoba and Sons Incorporated is the company to meet all your petroleum needs. We are one of Liberia's leading importers and distributor of petroleum products on the Liberian market. We are fully capacitated to deliver your petroleum and diesel products anywhere in Liberia. Mayoba and Sons Incorporated, we do rental of dump trucks, tanker trucks, heavy equipment, D8, front loader, excavator. Our clearing and forwarding agency is fast, reliable, and can deliver your goods on time. Mayoba and Sons have improved the quality of reconstituted distributions and importation by financial institutions empowerment. Our head offices are located at the Garnersville Town Hall Junction on Barnesville Road and Freeport Sigma Compound on the Bourgeois Island. For more information, call us on cell numbers 0886 512 379, 0777 512 379, or 0777 255 030, or email us Mayoba, MAYOUBAHS @yahoo.com, or visit our website www.mayobaliberia.com. Our mission is to keep petroleum on the Liberian market stable, effective, and efficient. Our vision is that our presence be felt in the 15 counties with outstanding commitment. Mayoba and Sons, Liberia's pride.
Yo, hello. I want to talk about violence. More violence is indiscriminate. It can happen for any reason and to anyone. Until we do something to stop the surge of vigilante-side justice in this country, none of us will be safe. My Liberia is Liberia of hope. In my Liberia, it is possible. Violence is not part of my Liberia. Violence leads to property damage, injury, or even death, as we are seeing recent months in several parts of Liberia, including Monrovia. Talk to people in your community about violence. Stand up against mob justice. Be a community hero. Liberia is all that we have. We must all unite to uphold the rule of law. Thanks for listening. This is Old Man Sam Simon.
Robbie, why you taking?
I said, darling, you look so worried.
Charles, I'm worried because I don't know where to get stuff for my shop and restaurant.
Oh, come on, man. Haven't you heard about Exeter's Best Price Store on Gurley Street and Smart Road Junction on the Old Road?
Oh no, Charles, tell me about it.
Exeter's Best Price Store got everything for your shop and restaurant. And the good news is that they have reduced the prices of club beer products and imported beverages. So to keep that graduation party, wedding reception, and whatever occasion jumping till the break of dawn, Exeter's Best Price Store is that place for you.
Is that all?
No, they have for the first time introduced on the LIB market Buffalo Revive that comes with 4 different flavors: Cool Blue, Apple Kiwi, Full Red, and Fitness Orange. It's good for athlete and everyone. For wholesale and retail supply, call cell number 0770-617-575. Exeter's Best Price Store on Garnet Street and the Old Road Smart Road Junction. We are your cheaper wholesale and retail store.
He said, when you want some more, I provide it. So we start to talk.
Wouldn't talk just to eat chicken. All right, folks. Once again, we say a pleasant good morning to you and welcome back to the program from Springfield. So we send controls to the USA, where Gus is seated and ready to descend on those stories we brought you this morning.
I said a massive descent. I say, my man, the stories. I mean, they won the shooting in how you call it, in Magibi. I'll be honest, when I saw the young people gather yesterday, it brought flashback to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could see rebels in vehicles again. As a young child, that scenery was just so scary to watch. And we need to be very, very serious about this issue of vulnerable young people or whatever. The situation that occurred, I'm sure there is still investigation of discharge of firearm, blah blah blah. But again, since this incident happened, I haven't heard more about it. By this time, we should know who the officer was. You know, that's what other people do in other places. But it is pretty scary, man. That when you see that many young people willing to do the things they were doing, imagine if somebody handed an arm, right?
Mm-hmm.
How scary that is. And we don't, you know, I always say Liberia, people that are in authorities don't realize how fragile it could be. You know, we have to take care of these issues. These young people were never rehabilitated. They were not rehabilitated, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and they are our brothers. They are in the streets, and issues that happens, they have to take law into their own hands. I mean, you may say whatever you want to say. Somebody's state of mind allows them to do the things they're doing. We saw what they did during the war. Young people were allowed to do during the war. When they change and alter their state of mind with drugs and all those other things, it's got to be something serious about this in our country if we want to move forward. We can build skyscraper, we can do everything, but if that's not taken care of, I'm sorry, we're in trouble. Um, Then you had the bad medical practice. That was another one. That stuff is still happening. It's sad because I remember that was one of the reasons why I went there. I'm still afraid of needles because I've seen many of that during my days, where a child got injected in the wrong spot. You know what I'm saying? Then they
Mm-hmm.
became crippled. And it's too bad that's still happening. You know, there's so many things that have been improved in the medical field that should not even be happening anymore in our lifetime. So I feel sorry for that family. Um, the other thing was the death of that twins. First of all, I want to commend the president for trying to see they could get that family in Morovia. But I will be honest with you, that situation is very rare. And Ben Carson, who ran for the United States presidency not too long ago, was the first doctor to successfully sever or separate conjoined twins. And by the way, it was so important that his was they were joined on the head. So he's a neurosurgeon.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's no way, even if they brought him to Morovia and went to hospital, JFK does not have the
There
facility
was
to
a
do
slight
that.
chance of
Yeah, there isn't,
survivability.
even in
Mm-hmm.
the entire world, there's a very slight chance of, oh shoot, I don't know what happened to my video.
Your camera is off.
No, I think what happened was I got a notification
Okay.
in the
Okay.
morning. I get my notifications come out. I try to swipe. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I mean, when I saw the president had called for them, I said, God bless his heart. But unfortunately, that situation were not ready for it. Even the advanced countries, the chances of them separating them and staying alive is very
Very
slim,
late. Mm-hmm.
very slim. So, but the effort should be noted. Um, the other thing is the U.S. ambassador. My man, I like that man. That man, a real Liberian man. You know, his visit to APM terminal. You see, what I like about him is he's a mirror bro. Let's be honest. That man would go anywhere. And man said, okay, the road by, I'm gonna drive to the southeast. He didn't take helicopter or chopper. He drove to the southeast. Going to APM terminal, everybody has complained about terminal with some of the contracts we have there. And then now, I mean, even the dredging issue, this has been going on for over 10 years, if I remember correctly, under the last administration. where they needed to dredge, and I don't think that dredging has been done yet.
Not yet.
Where, yeah, I mean, the depth of our seaport is getting lower and lower, where we can get bigger boats to
Bigger
come in.
vessels, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on there, but I'm glad he can go and see it himself. He doesn't want to just see reports; he wants to go and see it. That's true leadership, and I want to commend the Americans and the ambassadors, especially, for doing that. And don't forget, this ambassador lived in Liberia as a young man, as a Peace Corps, so he know Liberia very well. By the way, he was playing basketball with the president not too long ago too. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was
Um,
weekend.
yeah. So the other one was the court clearing people from GAC. Again, those are the things you talk about.
Not
So
not from GSC, GSA.
GSA, yeah, from
Yeah.
GSA. So I mean, when an anti-graft institution has evidence against somebody, they go to court and they get dropped. It tells you maybe that anti-graft institution isn't getting good enough evidence or something's going on. So I don't even want to get into it. So I don't know how we even fight corruption when those are going when things like that happen and people get away free. Um, the other one is that's interesting. Director naming another director. Um, I, and I think in a story, another director was suspended, but in this story, I guess this director was given freedom by Mr. McGill or whatever to be able
No,
to do.
what happened? What happened was that
Hmm.
the guy who was the director of mines
Hmm.
was suspended by the president,
Hmm.
and his position was given to someone else as director of mines. And the current assistant minister for mines at the Ministry of Mines and Energy is pursuing his studies in the United Kingdom. And so based on that, the minister proper, who have the sole responsibility, had taken him from director of mines to act in the position of the assistant minister, but he's not.
Director of hydrocarbon.
Yeah, he's not. He has not been appointed by the president. All right,
Well, and
because
that's the point. Yeah.
that's a presidential
Oh,
appointment.
right.
Assistant
So
Of
minister.
course, but there is also a letter from the office of McGill telling
Mhm.
instructing this minister to appoint that guy as acting.
exactly.
I read the letter.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. For now, since he has not been appointed, right, is not true that he's minister proper in that area. He's just acting
Yeah, he's
until
acting until the guy.
Swain can
In
return.
fact, Swain is already here.
But
According to what I read, Swain has come back in.
when usually a constitution, the way it's meant, the president, interim or while the president still do those appointments. That's just how
Direct,
it's always done.
director
Yes.
positions at the
Yes.
ministry is not presidential appointment. Director
Okay. Well, if that's
positions,
the case, then why did he even need to
those
go through
positions
McGill?
are yeah,
Yes, people do act in position until the
yeah,
person can get.
because
Most
that is
especially it's
within the
not in
purview.
depth.
It's in the purview of the minister
Hey,
proper to
that's
appoint a director.
hey,
Yes.
All right,
like I say,
mm,
yeah, like I say, whatever. When one person get dismissed for it or suspended for it, and then another person happen, it just throw a red flag. But again, it's not important to me. They can do their thing. In the end, they're not going to be there forever. So we'll move on. The other thing that's important is the recovery of the national insurance company. Um, I, I, it's another problem with Liberia as a whole that we keep messing around with. I mean, insurance is so critical and important. People livelihood, people entire savings could just get vanished with no recourse because we have no insurance. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Um, when you can build your house and some truck just kind of run over it, then you gotta go fight with that person. Our law states that you should be protected. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Why do we not have? Are we not forcing those insurance law? But here's the problem: the government is the reason why. I've always said this: health insurance. the only way we can take care of healthcare issue, people have to pay for stuff. It's the same as insurance. If you want to revitalize the insurance sector, the government has to be the first entity to do everything. Because, and I said this, a lot of people say, oh my God, government, government again. Government is the largest employer. They're the people that take pay. How many people taking pay in other places? Most of the other pay is on the table, right? Your check, you can get the tax on it to go to the government, and everybody that working in Liberia, government controls that first and foremost. Everybody in ministry, in government ministries, should be mandated to have health insurance and those type of insurance. Because once you do that, a whole segment of people now are paying into that. Then you can start going after private companies and all those things. But when you have insurance, if Esther get hit, Esther can go sue that person. The little child that was hit, how you call it, crippled by that injection
If
in
that's child was
America, I can
now,
go sue that company. I can go sue that entity, that nurse, and the facility that nurse worked for. You see what I'm saying? So you know what it does? It makes people have to do their job correctly. It forces you to know that there is some kind of liability in everything we do. Wendell, I work on medical equipment, okay? Some of the highest end of medical equipment, the insurance on it is crazy. Anybody that goes under surgery that something happened to, anybody that go get diagnosed under a CT, MRI, or whatsoever, and the diagnosis is wrong, and not calibrated that piece of equipment, I'm at fault too. You know what I'm saying? I am at fault too. So this is why they pay me a lot of money and other people in my company a lot of money to do the things to make sure people are safe when they go into those environments. The doctors will make sure to do everything correct because they know if Esther went there and you diagnose Esther wrong, something happened to her, Esther family is coming after you. But we don't have that. Police vehicle run over a human being, the people can't even go after them. We gotta wait for the president to go take money out of his own pocket. You know, if this thing happened to somebody, we're waiting for the president. No, there is civil courts in Liberia that can now go after individuals for their wrongdoing, for their negligence. And I think the government can really do this if they really want to. All they have to do is force their entities first to have to pay insurance and then bring all the other private entities to do that. And we'll move forward. But until we do those things, we're still acting like we're in 1920. Because when you need something, you go up beg Wendell. When you need something, you go beg. We got to get beyond that. So, but that's all I got today. I don't know if I missed anything. So you guys can pick what you want to pick. But I don't know. I think insurance is really a good thing to discuss, though, because citizens needs to know how important it is to have insurance.
But Gus, to your point when you spoke about, we can build all of the skyscrapers, we can build the streets with gold, and everywhere we walk on gold. Once our minds are not developed, it's useless of having all of these things,
Exactly.
because what actually transpired yesterday in that part of the country, Kakata, is alarming. The situation risks in this, the security risks in this country is very paramount. When you have people who have not been, traumatized, it's a problem. Yesterday, Esther, like Gus said,
Yep.
I was so scared when I, witnessed that video
Mm-hmm.
where the guys overpowered the police. The police couldn't do
But look
anything.
at the stuff they got
That's
in hat
correct.
on. Look at the
Yeah,
stuff they
yeah,
had on.
I'm telling you.
The rebels,
Yeah.
Seriously, we cannot live in our country like that. We are not fighting war.
And
Why would people continue to behave like they stay fighting
that's
war?
why when the U.S. embassy released that statement and said that Liberia is a growing threat country, these are some of the things that we're talking
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. We look. That's why we always told the lawmakers to increase the budget for the police, because you cannot have a population of 5 million and you have less than 3,000 police
But you
to
see,
combat crimes in our country.
right. And this is why when the budget came out, and sometimes go back and listen to our tapes. And this is why when we complain about it, our people will come and say all kinds of stuff. Everything that needs to be done, you can tell a country serious by the budget. Completely. Okay? Because to your point, the other thing is we need to build more jails. We need to build more rehabilitation centers. I'll be honest with you. No investor is going to come and see videos like that, man. I was scared as a Liberian. It brought back flashback of my youth. As a child, we're hiding because you see these cars. People are dressed up, got skull on their heads. I mean, these people had all kinds of stuff. I mean, and they were not one or two isolated people. There was gangs of people. Again, give them one weapon yesterday, they would take over Kakata yesterday. And if people don't take that serious, my man, how can you be living? This is Wendell. I can cry all the time. How can you say you're rich? How can you say you're successful? You're doing so good in this government, and you got that threat right next to you, my man. That threat is so scary. This is why in countries like this, they take care of those issues because those threats will take away every gain that you have, Wendell. Everything you've had. Let's be honest. You know.
I mean, it's so sad for our country when we have people who are doing things to shy away investors from our country, because no serious businessman will want to invest his money where there is no security. All right. What happened yesterday in Kakata, we don't want a reoccurrence of that, because anything can happen at any given time. That's why the police need to decentralize. But you cannot have, the numerical strength of the LMP now is less as compared to, our days growing up. I don't know what the latest census would be, the population of Liberia, but I'm quite sure we are, more than 5 million. And Esther, you have more than 5 million people in the country, and you have 3,000 police. Not even for Monrovia. So how many?
That's the whole country. Thank you.
That's the whole country. So how many persons are you going to send to Magibi? How many persons are you going to send to the rest of the 14 counties? It's sad. It's very serious, and we hope those folks in authority are listening, because we are talking about the security of our state. What happened yesterday in Kakata, it should be a lesson for some of us. Mr. President, if you are listening, you need to, make some quick intervention, because there are a lot of people who will not do their jobs except when you speak before they get to do their jobs. So we hope you are listening this morning, Mr. President. What took place in that part of the country yesterday is scary. So we need to put all of the security measures in place to avoid the reoccurrence of that.
But when they think about the unemployment, those are the things that really baffles me, right? We have challenges there, security sector. Look at the unemployment rate in Liberia. You don't think there is a need for national dialogue to ask our development partners to invest more into the security sector? And those will be more people taking pay? My man, you're right. I am telling you, they give the logistical stuff. I think we read that like a week ago. Is it the U.S. gave them some radio and whatnot? I'm not sure if that's fully functioning. But logistically, here's the election coming. When you hear all the threats from all these other yahoos left and right, according to opposition, why are they making those useless threats? Because they see these things. They know there are people that they can just use. But we cannot sit there and allow that. And all we have to do is, you can say all you want to say about Madame Salif. That's one thing she was very smart about. This woman knew she was never going to be president in Liberia until United Nations was never there. Okay? She made sure United Nations was there until she finished her term. Think about that. She was not. She was smart enough to understand that. Mr. President have been able to manage Liberia up to now without any United Nations by our own self.
Yeah.
And I think Mr. President can ask for some help.
Yeah.
Listen, we need to beef up our security sector.
And,
Okay?
and to be frank with you, I think the president deserves some commendation, because in the absence of international securities, we have our local men doing everything with the limited resources they have.
Well, but
I
that's
think
what we're saying. Yeah, yeah,
the president should
definitely.
be commended for
Well, that
that.
is the biggest gain the president have had. Even though his people don't even talk about that. I mean, he's the first non-wartime government that is running their own security. Um,
Mm,
our national budget is basically our own money with a little bit of help from the international community. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, this is the first time we're running ourselves. Let's be honest. And that's one thing I think the part of the election. This is the first government post-war that is running itself.
and goes to your point. I think this is where we expect stakeholders from those counties. The lawmakers, the legislative caucus from Magibi County, our own brother and friend who is the special aide to the president, Sekou Kalasco Demaro. I mean, you're one of those influential, Magibians, and I'm quite sure your intervention will bring some relief to that county. So we are calling on those folks from that county, those of you who are in authority, to see how best you can have a national dialogue, like Gus said. We need to talk to our people. Old man Sam Science said violence is not the way forward. This thing should ring bells into our ears. That if we want to, seek justice, we need to respect the rule of law. Taking the laws into our own hands will not help the situation, my people. We cannot treat our country like this. We are crying for job opportunities. We are crying to make our country better. But with the kind of things we are doing in our country, how will somebody come and invest? How will you get job when you're making the people who are supposed to bring job for you, you're making them scared. You're making them to go away. How do you expect to get jobs? I mean, we are speaking to the youthful population of our country. We cannot live like this in this country. Why are we doing this? Every small thing happening, somebody will go and put up house on fire. Somebody will burn down people's cars and all of that. Can't you listen to the old man, Sam Sion, about violence into our country? This is too bad for us. What happened yesterday is almost like, war coming into the country. We are not praying for bad things to happen. We fought war in this country for 14 years, and today, you see, we are still struggling to rebuild our country. Some of you are not thinking in this direction. Why are you sitting there and wasting your time just into violence when you can make something better out of your life? You have time in your favor. You have age in your favor. Why don't you make yourself better for the society? There are a lot of things you can get involved with to make yourself a better person than for you to just be into violence all of the time. People pushing you into violence. We should be calling on the authorities now to, establish as to what led to the death of our brother. But burning down the police station, burning down people's properties, I don't think it's the way forward for us. No. We cannot live in this country like this. We cannot live like this. So those of you from that county, the lawmakers, those of you government officials from Magibi County, you need to move from village to towns to cities and talk to your people. And it goes to other counties, not only Magibi. It goes to other counties to create the avenue for these young people to get something to do, so that they wouldn't be wasting their time when they're supposed to be making the better of their life. They've been running, beyond violence all over the place. We cannot live like this. We are 200 plus years. And we have a leadership, we have a president who, is so much, passionate about developing this country. But some of us, we don't want to see good things happening for our country. What happened yesterday is scares away investors.
Of course.
I'm telling you, nobody want to come and pump their money into this country with the kind of nonsense they saw on yesterday. It's alleged that this young man was shot by a police officer. Why don't you wait until the investigation is concluded? But because they say the man was shot and killed, we agree that, you share the grief. We all are in sympathy with you. Nobody happy for a Liberian to die. Nobody want to celebrate that. But we cannot live
Plus, Wendell,
in our country.
right? Plus, Wendell, nobody said that when something like that happens, people do not get jitter. You can get jitter, right?
Yeah.
You'll be mad, you'll be angry for a minute, but then you have to step back and go. You don't take mob group. We don't.
Step back and seek justice.
Yes, I mean, I'm mad. I would be upset too if that was my relative. We want to make that very clear. I would be upset if that was my relative that got shot by a police officer. But again, we have to realize now we're trampling on other people. We're going out there and burning down other police officers who did not even participate. You're going after them. And then somebody was, it happened in America. Yes, it does. We've seen that. Okay? The citizens get up and they protest. They do it. But guess what? When authorities show up, things have to get under control. Because I know there's going to be one or two people that would say that. So, I mean, all I got to say is to Wendell's point and Esther is, but the biggest thing is authorities have to make this a huge priority. We got to take care of this problem. We can't keep kicking it down the road. We have to take care of it. I know the president said something about it. I think we read it 2 weeks or a week ago.
Yeah.
About doing some stuff with vulnerable youth. But here's my advice to the president. Take it out of that. Youth and sports is useless. I'm sorry. We don't need youth and sport. They need to maybe just get a special project and take care of this. We don't need to put anything on a youth and sport. This issue here is bigger than youth and sport. Youth and sport still got to fix our stadium and all that other stuff. Let little people, let it finish our other job. Let's find a reason. Let's find a special task force for this issue. A special task force for this issue, because this issue is important. And your international partners will support you because they don't want to see us going to war. They don't want to keep giving us money because we cannot get investors. No, they will be willing to give us money to take care of this issue. And this issue is important because it's going to spiral us back. So, I mean, that's just my advice to the government and the president. Don't even put this on a youth and sport. Let the people then finish your other sports side. The youth side, find a special task force. Let them take care of this issue. Please, Mr. President, we're begging you, holding your vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And so we'll go to the phone lines now and take few calls on this issue. Yesterday in the city of Kakata, we saw angry mob, running and vandalizing the police station, where they overpower the police, and because it was alleged that a friend of theirs was killed by a police officer. And one thing is, we don't want the reoccurrence of jungle justice in our country. We saw what it led us to. Today we are challenged with a lot of things in our country. Water, electricity, and you just name it. It is because of the war that we fought, got us to where we are today. All right? So we need to hold together. That's the only way we can move our country forward. Look, Liberia is going to rise again. I'm telling you, I'm of the strongest conviction that this country is going to hit the top again. But we cannot hit the top with the kind of things that we are doing to shy away investors. We cry every day for the government to create job opportunities, to build vocational institutions, to create the avenue for you to meet your daily need. These are things that we cry on and put the government feet to fire to do every time. But with the kind of violence, the wave of violence in our country, the mysterious death, the disappearance of people in our country, it doesn't augur well for us as a country. So we'll take a few calls and then we'll leave from here at 12:30. Let's talk to our first caller. Good afternoon.
Yeah, hello?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Mary Passaway calling from Community.
Let's hear you, Mr. Passaway.
Yeah, well, the thing that happened yesterday, and you were talking about it, yesterday was on 4K FM. I said, hello, the human being, we are too standing educated, small in the country. We are also the country that goes and found same police, the same police. For example, today, I think happened yesterday. How the police walk from other from the food, they go to care or nothing. So I need to let them go. Every year, so the food body forever, but they don't want to do it. We don't want to every year, but people can't see line it. That person forget about it. And see out there, so they found what they in the country, but now you come to the election. Because the election, you don't play. None of the election say, you want to play, you don't play. You have to vote for it now.
That's true.
Yeah.
You read about that.
At least on the country, they figure out somebody getting 100 police there, or 75 police, will be all responsible country getting a 50 police there, and found it will be all will be fear. So, things happen in the country there, you want to not get the right people, they're killing 20 people around.
Okay.
So, at least the government can,
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for your contribution. Let's talk to this person. Hello. Yeah, hello. Please don't give us feedback now. If you give us feedback, I will cut you off. Every time you call on the radio, you need to move away from the noise.
Hello?
Go ahead and make your point. Your name and where you calling from.
I'm Jimmy Watson. I was calling from Central Matadi. When I tell you, I say thank you this morning for the talking point. One of the problems in this country is that the trust. The young people is involved in the trust too much in this country. So government need to see how best to look at the trust law. Because normally they don't be normal to do these things. So the legislature, all of the senior government officials need to see how best for us to look at the trust law. Seriously.
Okay.
Thank you so much this morning.
Thank you. Let's talk to this person. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Your name and where you join us from?
My name is Robert Lewis, and I'm from Franklin County this afternoon.
Go ahead, Bob. Let's hear you.
Thank you very much. I want to say this. Look, this country, the police need to be vigilant to engage with the citizen as we behave. The young people today, or we people today, we believe in violence. And violence is not the right way. The war is over. There's nobody can force one person to get into drugs. There's nobody can force one person to get into violence, but we do it our own way. Now we have the law. The law is there, and the police are there to enforce the law. If somebody gets into violence, the police are right to enforce the law. Look, it happened in the case of Shaki Kamara at the time when Ellie was in power. There was shooting outbreak in West Point, and a young guy, Minister SAP, whatever, I believe that there was a gun shootout, and he heard the sound of the gun. Where were he when he go by the team? This is the same thing. I see part of the family, yes, 17 years or what age he is, or he was. But now, where were he when the violence took place? And according to Moses Carter this morning, the alleged Arab was on the run and they put after him. I believe there was a shooting outbreak. Didn't they hear the gun sound? Look, we have to be to ourselves.
Okay.
Our young people today, not only in Monrovia or Qatar, but in Great Kimberley, our young people live in violence.
Okay.
Kind of way out. Thank you very much, Mr. Nene.
Thank you. Let's talk to you, this person. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Tell us your name and where you join us from.
Yeah, we got.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is the ball. Schools or I for them. I think they have a state that says not feel sorry for yourself, woman. That's not woman, they're not feel sorry for yourself. We don't see that it's just but it's not a ginger. The ball has been put up. And it's going to the phone off and say, no, this is come on, law and order. No, another thing. Look, put it happy. This is a procedure. Don't put the place for the country. Under the place.
Okay. Okay. Oh, my brother. Thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution. Let me talk to this caller. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where you calling from?
Thank you very much. My name is Barrett.
Go ahead. 1 minute.
But the name we talk too much in the country. We don't implement much in the country. What's that? My friends, one of the country that gets full law in West Africa. We implementing it. If you can get this advantage, you doesn't know who's the eye. What are you waiting for? All the disadvantage, whether I go or be arrest, all of that will say the men what do that thing. The police station now waiting on one people need a few.
Another thing you should know that we have lapses. All right, we don't have enough prison centers to have them incarcerated, and we don't have rehabilitation centers. So these are some of the challenges.
Even I'm someone who knows job who get trained. I work somewhere. I self-employ. I employ myself.
That's true.
Employ me.
That's true.
So I'm a job with advantage you. Stop misbehaving the continent. Other boy in the country.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. That's true. Okay. Oh, my brother, thank you. Thank you. Let's talk to this person. Hello. Yes, good afternoon. We're fine, thank you. Your name and where you join us from?
This is Ma Walter calling from New Jersey.
Go ahead, Ma Walter. Let's hear you.
Thank you for the platform the afternoon. When you already say something concerning the security center in the country, the police were there. Some of them doing their work, but some of them let the government try to recruit police people. So error in the night, even in the evening time, one police man you will not see them there. So terrible thing happening to me. What is sit down? You not see.
But Ma Walter, I'm even told that Barnesville Junction right now is a no-go zone for residents of that place. I'm told that the people start terrorizing them from 7 o'clock, jacking bags and cell phone. Barnesville Junction.
I said we never rest our junction here. You know who started helping us?
No.
They
Kapawa people.
They don't want to be the two junction. New Jersey junction, chocolate junction. But 6 o'clock, I beg you, you can't run motorbike. You can't run motorbike.
Wow.
That's too much a serious thing, and you not see one policeman. Even when police telling you that, they not get that for you.
The people say Toto wants the back, but it doesn't have the hands. That's why we continue to cry, for budgetary allotment for the police. We need more than 15,000, 20,000 men at Liberia National Police to decentralize those men to combat crimes.
you.
quality. Thank you too for calling. And let's talk to another person. This caller. Hello. Hello. I gotta be switching phones here. Yeah. Good afternoon. Welcome.
And good afternoon to the peace-loving people of Lofa and Liberia.
It's been a bit, Mr. Blama Kamara.
Actually. Bamna Ryan, I've been following the show. Thank you very much for the job.
Go ahead.
Continue to do on behalf of Liberian people.
Thanks for the compliments.
Okay. Let me say hands up to God. Next up.
How you doing, brother?
I love you not only because you are a Liberian, but I love you for what you stand for in life. The issue of security is not being taken lightly in our country. And the president should look at that direction. Because when we talk about leadership, we talk about we want to remain in leadership perpetually or for the time that we're giving to you by the Liberian people is on the basis of security. So I think we need to increase the manpower at the level of the Liberian National Police and all our security apparatus in our country. Because even when you travel low-fat and better, so the statement that a police officer will have to go 3 to 4 hours over a motorbike to go and arrest in another time. Indeed, that somebody were able to shoot somebody. In the process, that person were still police were around and be even able to identify who did it. So because of what no manpower, if you have people assigned in those places, they will serve as a deterrent, to who be criminals or who be mass murderers, to know that when I do this, people will come after me right away. But that is not happening. Our country is vulnerable. Even those borders, people just cross anyhow, leaving from Guinea, Sierra Leone, entering Nigeria at any point in time, my brother. Unless if you have a bordering, country with other countries, that's the time you will get to know as to what I'm saying. So our country is just vulnerable. When a God carry also, we just have to really pray that the president goes in that direction so that many of our young brothers and sisters who are languishing around can be trained and we make them professional people to protect our country and our life and property. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Blama Kamara. Let's talk to this person. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the show. Good morning. Oh, we lost that caller. Let me talk to this person. Okay, we lost that other caller. This person. Hello.
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 Yes. Good afternoon, William.
Good afternoon.
My name is Prince Corey. I call from District 16.
Go ahead, Prince. Let's hear you quickly.
Yeah, thank you, William, for the show. You see, William, this is a serious security issue if it comes to disadvantage youth. I think what concern, I think the portion of the youth should move from another youth from school. Because we are going to a crucial election. We are even going to that 2023 election will be crucial. People might use the people for any means. So we are even going to look at the disadvantage you get on the street and match the position and disable law the state. It's a serious problem. So the central government should take that issue as a serious issue so that it can prevent that
Okay.
Now I think that there are so many winners. Any country they go, they feel like you are more than the people are living there. I think the government should see some reason, train other people. Let the police cannot make it enough. Train other people so they want to take care of the people.
Thank you.
We're talking about agriculture here. You can use some of these people, you carry them, come and open fire and carry these people there. It will be useful. Instead of them passing around the street as a still security threat for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You struck a very important point, my brother. Thanks so much. Let's take some more calls, maybe 2 more, then we'll wrap up. This person. Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. Please, we don't have time. So your name and where you calling from?
My name is Fire calling from Panama.
Go ahead. Let's hear you quickly. Hello. You're not ready to talk, then you call on the radio. Don't waste people's time, man. Please, let's talk to this person. Hello?
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Wendy.
It's in the afternoon. Please check your watch.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wendy. My name is
Christian Segbe, and I'm calling you from my comfort phone.
Good afternoon, Mr. Christian Segbe.
Yeah, I just want to add my force to your attention mate with respect to the security sector in need of reform. Because most of these people, they are not trained, with respect to security. And furthermore, the manpower is lacking, and budgetary allocation really need to be directed so as to that they can request or curtail some of those crimes crime rate, because it's highly alarming. Everywhere the level of criminality is high, and to see citizens decision, the police headquarters in Kakata, and wherein the citizens were moved in the police could not overcome the citizen. It's worrisome.
That's
so
true.
We need to see how best we can put in its proper perspective.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Christian Segbe, and maybe we can squeeze in one more call, and then we go from here today. So let's see whether we can squeeze in one more call, and who's going to be that lucky person. You can quickly dial the number. And so we have that lucky caller on the line, on the female line. So let's talk to you, this person. Hello?
How you doing, Baba?
I'm fine.
Boyma.
Yeah, let's hear you, ma. Bendu Boyma.
Yeah, I call from Shopping Avenue.
Okay, go ahead. You the last caller. Let's hear you quickly.
Yeah, Baba. The thing what happened is that it's too much for her. They call me here, sorry for her that what we suffering for. Because all the West Side may jail or that some of them they do jail or they live or they do the one you they jail or four. The people say they can't do up to four then anything what they do they don't free then they go. You say all the point that you were here, you say you were going to say the uncle is nothing will come from all of you when we pay you will come from all of the kids. So the government of course you take to care. Then they treat them, then they care them, so when they treat them, so they can join the police here to take care of the country here.
Okay,
because
Mama.
people waste in the country for nothing in it there, then they get up some of them, no draw in, then they mean it to do it, because they say when they did, then they will take them from there. So when they treat them, when they working, no problem with the old people, because they do much, they overcome the police there.
Okay. Thank you, Mama. Thank you so much. We're not taking any more calls. Let's just recognize a few of our followers. Then we come back to God's and closer. All right. So, thank you, Mama. Let's welcome recognize few of our followers on our Facebook field and YouTube. Let's see. Marianne Pearson says, "Keep up the good work. God bless you." Sheikh Abubakar Sharif. Good afternoon, guys. Thanks for the hard work. I'm watching from Claratown. And Musa J. Saki says, I'm following from Red Hill Field, District 17, Monserrato County. Abraham Sharif is watching from Blue Rangers of the Coalition for Democratic Change chat room. Thanks for your great work. God bless you all. David Johnson is also following. James W. Soso is watching us from Brewerville. Nathan Wia is watching us from Cyprus. TAS Namwe is watching us from Accra, Ghana. Jude Wonwe from Johnsonville. T. Sylvester Yenswa, Brian Yenfwe, and all of you watching. Brian Yenfwe is following from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So let's send controls to Gus to get his parting comment.
Hey, Wendell, thank you for the show, and thank you to the Liberian people. Hey, I just commend you guys for being able to endure some of the difficult circumstances that we do. Going to sleep every night and worrying about some of these stuff is not easy. But I'll tell you what, we've come this far. We can't be quiet now. We got to continue to complain. Even if they see us as complainers, even if they see us as not saying the right thing, we have to complain because your life is at stake. I don't care how much you earn. The fact that one individual action can just end your life, okay, can end everything that you earn by stealing it or burning it or doing any of those things. You have to talk. So hopefully our authorities can look into this. Like I said, there has to be something critically done, a task force of some sort to attack this issue. This issue has to be very high priority. Security sectors, that's my other biggest disappointment in security sectors. They should be having joint sections and talking and advising the president. Mr. President, we know we're doing this, we're building that, but the security of the nation is not really where it's supposed to be, and we don't have these things. But they don't do it. The only thing they care about is when they wear their wetsuit and get a nice car, like what Omar said, they're fine. But again, we inside. I'll talk to you tomorrow, my brother. Have a good one.
You too. Have a good one. That's the voice of Gus Korma. He's our USA Radio LIB partner. And let me say a big thank you to the team at the Liberia National Police, headed by Colonel Patrick Sudway. His deputies want to say thanks for restoring calm to that part of the country, because what transpired yesterday was so scary. And so we say kudos to you, Patrick Sudu, and your team of lieutenants at the Liberia National Police for restoring calm. And again, to our youthful population, those of you under the sound of our voices this afternoon, just want to let you know, Old Man Sam Science says, violence is not the way forward. Until we can stop the search of vigilante side of justice in this country, none of us will be safe. Let's learn to respect the rule of law for the common growth and the betterment of our country. Until we meet you on tomorrow, God's willing, on the midweek presentation, do have a pleasant Tuesday. My name is Wendell Nimnet.